children's books. They're utterly delightful, sometimes controversial,
Outrage. Bare-breasted woman in Where's Wally?
and they've been around forever. Well, at least since 200 AD, when Panchatantra, an ancient Indian collection of interconnected animal fables, was written. It's thought to be the first ever work written down for children. But when did children's books become the industry we know today? Well, in medieval Europe, there were some books for medieval children. But rather than being full of fun and adventure, they were kind of educational.
Oh, baby's young, my book only is made for your learning.
Boring. Let's say boring. And preachy.
He cast no stonies at no glass windowies.
It was really in the 18th century that children's books began to flourish. Coincidentally, this is around the time the concept of the child as we know it today began to solidify, and children's books became more fun. Like The Gigantic History of Two Famous Giants by Thomas Borman and Tommy Thumb's Songbook by Mary Cooper. The Little Pretty Pocket Book by John Newbery in 1744 is often cited as the first modern children's book. It was intended for instruction and amusement, and it taught you the alphabet to boot.
So, ST and U, pray, how do you do? We thank you, the better for seeing of you, STU.
Solid book concept, which we still see today. Australian literature has had its own journey as well. In 1894, Ethel Turner's Seven Little Australians became the first book written about Australian children, and it heralded in the way for a century of adorable Aussie characters and Aussie behaviour, like exploring the bush with friendly koalas and grumpy puddings. And in 1964, we get The Legends of Moonee Jal, the first ever Aboriginal children's book by Butchulla siblings Moonee Jal and Wundy. It shares the stories of the Butchulla people, like how the wallaby got its pouch, how the boomerang was invented, and how the little firebird came to have that bright scarlet spot on its back. One concept that has pervaded children's books here and abroad forever is farting. Farting and bums. From contemporary Aussie classics to the earliest modern children's books.
Piss a bed, barley butt, your bum's so heavy you can't get up.
Right the way back to 1530, when Desiderius Erasmus gave children this sage advice.
To fidget around in your seat and settle first on one buttock and then the next gives the impression that you are repeatedly farting, or trying to fart. So make sure your body remains upright and evenly balanced.
And that wraps up our little history on children's books. That absolutely was not me.